PhD. And eventually the coin just kept going up and up and up. And I went, oh, okay. And by 20 or 30 million, I went, okay, maybe I should quit my day job and do this full time.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And we went through a whole migration phase and moving over to the Meteora pool so that we could collect fees, so that we could actually fund and build stuff. And that kind of migration, I believe, was kind of the last time we talked. And now, if you notice, we're not only post-migration and actually building things and have physical products out, we have our own office. We have like a mad science lab, which I don't think you guys have seen yet.
No, we definitely haven't. But I was about to say, this is new location. Last time we had you in like a cafe. So
yeah, I
Give
think
us
it
the
was
tour.
yeah. So actually, I think our last interview was, I was out in Dallas for North American Blockchain Conference and meeting with members of the New Texas Stock Exchange, because we were actually working with them as well. So we have actually a 3D print lab here, so we can build and issue our own debit cards and tokens for the physical hardware. We have our gnarly whiteboard and our mad science lab.
leak the alpha.
Yeah, exactly. And so we actually do community days as well. So any member of the community who wants to come in, play with things, try things out is more than welcome to. What's up? Thank you. Yes.
And I guess a question that I had as well, when you were out there, when we last interviewed you, you also mentioned that you were hard at work on the legislative side because there are a lot of laws, a lot of things that need to be changed and updated. How has that been going? Because I know that was the first and foremost thing to kind of get past, to then kind of bridge the, lay the groundwork for what you're building in the future.
Yeah, so it's actually gone really great. Our partnership with the Texas Blockchain Council has moved us really, really far forward. We not only got language included in the Texas Blockchain Bill about the advisory council and the 20 million that Texas is putting into Bitcoin, but we also are, and I'm excited, I don't know, let me check the Slack real quick, if I'm allowed to say that yet. Yes, we actually have the current head of the Texas Blockchain Council is stepping down to run and serve on that advisory board to actually manage those funds and to help shape future legislation. In addition to that, kind of the other side of that was retaining a really good law firm, Porzio, which has been an amazing decision because they have not only provided us with really, really amazing backing in terms of, this is how you should build out your company, this is how the tax legislation is going to work in crypto, and all these different pieces as well. Just the networking as well. We got to go out to the Porzio conference in Puerto Rico earlier this year. So we actually met with with Brock, one of the co-founders of Tether, as well as Taryn Pfizer and a few other people, which was really cool to be working with the Tether guys on stablecoin and looking at integrating that into our protocol as well. And so just our law firm has knocked it out of the park. Like I said, how we kind of jumped right into that legal analysis was the other component of that legislation piece, was also making sure that we're in compliance with the laws that are already on the books and how they're being currently interpreted by judges. And so we've been working on it from both sides, which has been a really interesting challenge, because every time our lawyers come back with, you can't do it that way, it means we have to rewrite something that we just built, or a demo that we just thought we were about to release, or some internal tool. We're like, oh, shit. Which has been an interesting process, but we have really, really nailed down, especially with this document here, exactly what our architectural principles are going to be going forward and how we're doing that. And so with that, and with kind of the feedback system that we've established both internally and with external third-party developers and people who just are giving us feedback on our approaches, has let us move forward, jump over some big potholes, and really get to moving that on-chain privacy peer-to-peer to be that next big step that we want to release. In addition to that, we have some really, really exciting news, which is that in talking here in the office in the Dallas area, it's a big medical city, and quite a few doctors share our co-working space. And Zera Labs is also opening Zera Medical to use zero-knowledge proofs for medical research studies in order to secure patient records and stuff like that. So we actually have, and the gentleman you saw over there has volunteered to come on. He's a former member of, I believe, SMU, and worked with the National Science Foundation to build grants. And so he has come on to build out Zera Medical as kind of our secondary revenue stream, as well as applications for all of the tech that we're already building for the finance side. And what we're doing at Zera Labs can have secondary applications to help people all over the world, not just protect your money and your privacy. And in doing that, he'll be able to pull in secondary grants, investors, things of that nature. So we're not entirely dependent just on token price and stuff like that. So we're making sure that we...
That's a really interesting vertical. Is this breaking exclusive news, or has this been announced already?
This is breaking.
Love it.
Wow.
So the thing about the zero knowledge proofs going into medical is, or maybe you can explain the importance of it, because obviously you can't be leaking and talking about all these people's medical records, history, names, all that information is very private. What kind of led you to go in this direction? Because it's a very interesting vertical, very different from finance.
Yeah, it wasn't that we're going in a different direction at all. It's that one, Ian, the gentleman over there, kind of approached us about it, as well as both the doctors in our office and without. And on personal side, I have a new boyfriend, and he's actually a doctor. He wanted to use our zero knowledge proofs for his triple blind study that he has coming up that he wanted to plan. And so just in doing that and talking kind of casually, we realized, holy cow, there's a lot of money in medical, and they're kind of just throwing it at everybody right now. And so if it doesn't distract or detract from the core mission of engineering, volunteers and members of the team like Ian are here to kind of sort that out and feel out that part of the market without, distracting us from our core mission of financial freedom and privacy, both on-chain and off-chain.
Well, this is a huge announcement. Can we get into like a bit of the numbers if you have those on hand on like the medical industry, the TAM of this market? Just any information you have there that can understand the economics a little bit better.
Yeah, so the question, Ian, was can we get a little bit of information on numbers, market share, what it looks like, what funding might take the shape of and form of in terms of what we'd be eligible for? Let me know if you can hear him.
Hello, everybody.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult to put exact numbers to it because in the healthcare space, you are ranging everything from small private practices, clinics, and things where you have individual doctors funding little things. You have PhD researchers who have very limited financing and resources, all the way up to the insurance companies and the HRS systems, which print money. So depending on which markets are directly applicable for these types of zero knowledge proofs, which have the potential to revolutionize, like in the financial area, end-to-end privacy and transactions, medical records, personnel records, all of the insurance claims, all of the privacy. There is a huge issue, and there's a fundamental tension between security and compliance within the healthcare space. And so the more things you make things secure, the more difficult it is for that information to be shared between who it needs to be shared with. On the flip side, compliance is your minimum legal requirement to secure things. And doing that does not necessarily make that actually secure in practice. And so if you'll look at the news, there has been recent things that show you what happens when you don't have secured patient records. And so because that can vary from everything from financial records all the way up to complete biometrics for a person, it is incredibly sensitive information, but it also needs to be shared and accounted for. The use of these zero knowledge proofs and building a security architecture that doesn't interfere with, but lays on top of and provides a way of validating patient information without ever actually revealing the sensitive information itself, has a tremendous number of applications in a lot of different healthcare aspects. And that is what Zero Medical is going to try to explore, because it does have applications in pharmacy and laboratories and clinics, hospital networks, the insurance companies, other healthcare startups, government agencies like the CDC and the NIH, anybody who deals with public health information or records, and of course, all of the ERMs. So your Epics, your Aethers, your MedTech, Praxis, all of those are going to
And that fancy acronym he threw out would be like the medical billing software, essentially.
Yeah, everybody who talks, there's an entire industry between the insurance, who doesn't want to pay everybody, and the doctors who want to help everybody. And there's an entire system in between that makes a lot of money talking between the two of them. And so they are all of the healthcare record processors and the payment processors.
So real quick, we did get a question on how will this affect the token. If anything, it will bolster it. The additional funding that we get for Zero Medical, if any at all, in exploring these opportunities or these these applications for it, we can use to directly fund and thicken the liquidity pool directly with cash infusions, as well as announce secondary product lines and things of that nature. So there's absolutely strong confidence in making sure that not only does the company have capital and funds to continue operating and doing research, but that we can make sure that our holders and that the token supply is always stable and growing.
Yeah, and you know what? Since this is not our area, medical is not our area of expertise, and I would imagine most of the viewers aren't, proficient in this. Can I ask what the current system is for, medical records that are keeping this sensitive data anonymized? Like, is there something in place?
Oh,
he's getting excited. He's getting excited.
Okay, so sit in the fancy chair.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting a lecture. You asked for it.
I'm gonna walk you through a couple of problems. Okay, so say long-term goals like the insurance provider.
That is the whale of all whales, because insurance is just a license to print money.
They will just pay $1 billion to license a piece of software because they do.
And they have, yeah. But yeah, to bring it back again, and just to be clear, we have not changed or left anything that we're doing with Zero Labs. And in fact, because we do want to hit mainnet here really shortly, I want to talk a little bit, if we still have the time, about the walls we've hit, because development process and the iterative process is hard. We tried to ship my thesis directly and kind of hit the wall of RPC metadata leaks, solvency bugs. If we didn't bind the deposit amounts directly to the commitment with a proof, someone could deposit one thing and then later pull out 500K. And so because the chain never actually checked what was committed in the first place. And so figuring out how we encrypt and store those values is another thing that we've run into. And the big thing, which again, this demo that I've been doing, we moved to a dedicated tree versus a shared or rotating tree, because the existing protocols that exist within Solana that we can use like a shared tree structure, and that was not going to work. And so we ran into a couple of weeks of just bashing our heads into that problem. And now we've solved that problem with our anonymity set and with how we're doing our Merkle trees, which actually, again, you can see here, we got it working. And we're doing our own demos now for this internally. And the next thing we have to add is actually deposits and withdrawals. And then from there, we want to move on. So what we're scoping for mainnet is not to solve privacy forever, but to ship zero-knowledge proof verified primitives that are actually useful on Solana and provide the base level privacy that we want to see in order to iterate from there. And so we want to bring to fruition the commitments we made to the community in steps, because obviously trying to solve everything at once, and how do you eat a whale, one bite at a time, and so making sure that we can solve each piece iteratively is a really big change in the direction that we're going, so that we can release piecemeal what everybody wants. In addition to that, we have some secondary research into the cold wallets that we talked about, stuff like that, using things like AWS Sidewalk. So being able to even send offline anonymously through a mesh network. We've tested with Meshtastic, so you can use little tiny radios to send the actual offline proofs that we've generated for these things. They fit in the radio broadcast, and you can anonymously, without the internet, send this to someone 10, 20 miles away. But in addition to that, Amazon owns something called Sidewalk, because they bought the Ring doorbells. So you can actually bounce your anonymous transactions off of all of the doorbells in your area and things of that nature. And so those are just things that we've looked at and figured out, oh, our proofs are small enough, they fit, and this would be a really good use case that once we can get, again, online peer-to-peer solved, we can be adding feature sets like that.
Can you real quick, like, tell me what I'm looking at there exactly with the coin and with like, what is this? Conceptualize it for someone smooth brain like myself.
Yeah. So the thing we did release at zerolabs.org on the wallet button is you're able to mint it. We also have a desktop app, so you can actually plug in a scanner like this, and the commitment that you made from the website, which was a deposit of value, right, 10, 20 USDC, whatever it was, can actually be physically written to this via our desktop app, or even to a card. And we're actually hoping we have a really killer designer who's going to do a first round of almost like debit card type things to be able to read and write to these. So you can actually physically, write your crypto onto one of these and mail it to someone, or write your crypto onto this and physically hand it to somebody and have that transfer of value.
That's super cool. I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, we had our first round of developer SDK sets or community sets go out. There's actually a shop on our site right now. It's closed because we already sold out of the first 100 or so, and we actually have to hand make each one individually as well. But yes, as we open up our next round of stuff, we want more developers, more community members to be involved and to just buy them, because we're selling them at cost and producing them and taking feedback as we build this out to really, again, once we have the total online privacy solved, we can do these offline transfers through that layer and have complete end-to-end privacy and offline cash.
Can the scanner be on the phone? It seems like that would be a very easy way to just do it. Crypto Joe's mission.
We've been trying to figure that out, but that is one of the harder problems to solve, because just to be frank, Apple's an asshole, and they do not provide the whole software interface. Like, you're physically not allowed to write code to talk to the entirety of the antenna in iPhones, and even to do that in Android, it's somewhat of a hacky workaround. But Android is based on Linux, so you can always hacky work around that. But for Apple, they have kind of fucked us in that regard. So that's why we're looking at the mesh network stuff. That's why we're looking at Bluetooth or local Wi-Fi transfer, because specifically the tap to pay antenna in iPhones, if I have my phone right here, when you go to do a tap to pay, right, that antenna, that physical antenna, is different from the Wi-Fi antenna, the Bluetooth antenna, and the 5G cell service. And so that's why we're able to fit these in the Meshtastic, right? So this connects via Bluetooth to this, and this is a physically small radio that operates on a band that is not the internet, that is not anything that is traceable, and it will be able to encrypt it, broadcast those transactions in an encrypted manner to another party, say his phone. And so the app will be able to pick it up through that. But unless we're Intel, we can get Apple to change their ways or build our own devices, which we've looked at doing. That's not necessarily something we can do, but absolutely building out mobile apps for this is on the roadmap, so that it may not be directly tap to pay, because that is a really complicated protocol that involves everything from Visa to MasterCard to Apple to kind of all have a working group together to decide this is the protocol and this is how the protocol works. Kind of like how TCP and IP, right? Everyone got together in the 70s and decided this is how IP addresses work. And it's not because the software is magical. It's just like blockchain. Everything runs on consensus. The internet IP only works is because every computer in the world agrees that IP works this way. And so trying to do that with the tap-to-pay standard is going to be a long, hard-fought battle. But there are absolutely mobile apps and things in the roadmap in that respect that we're definitely planning on releasing.
Got it. So
yeah,
we're coming to a close here, but we have two questions for you before we close this up. The first, I saw Meteora kind of tweeting out about you guys a bit. Is there a relationship there? Any comment on that?
I have been heads down engineering, and I will apologize. I should probably be on X a little bit more. There is no formal relationship, but there's absolutely a healthy respect, at least on my end, for the engineering team and the people who work at Meteora. I think they are wonderful, hardworking, and very, very smart people who have been nothing but kind in answering questions or guiding us when we run into pool trouble, and their whole software layer. So I wouldn't say there's necessarily a formal business relationship, but I have nothing but the highest respect for the engineers and the people there. And so if they're saying things good, bad, or ugly about us, I'd love to hear about it and read some more about it.
Good things.
Good things. Cool.
It looks like we had a question come in chat before my last one from Random Guy. How will the fee structure look like for mainnet? And is there a marketing campaign plan to promote?
Okay, so this is actually a really fun one because this goes back to the legal analysis, right? And so the legal analysis kind of found that the other thing that Tornado Cash was doing was charging fees on everything, right? And so that was either at the smart contract level or whatever else. So we're planning on not having fees at the smart contract level. Essentially, what we are going to do is open source the ability to talk to the contract, all the primitives, all that stuff. So if you want to write your own software to talk to our essentially anonymity layer, our protocol, you can. And we want to open source that and support other developers in that endeavor. But if you are just a normal user, you can go to our website and use that. But the website interface will be the thing which charges fees. And that's actually really similar to, I bet a bunch of our viewers know about Zelle. So Zelle is not the money transmitter. The bank is the money transmitter. And Zelle still charges you a fee. But Zelle is charging you a fee because you're using their app interface to talk to your bank and send it to somebody else's bank. But the whole transaction system is occurring between two different banks. But because Zelle is just providing the software layer, they're allowed to charge as many fees as they want. And so that's what we've decided to do, is essentially make the protocol at the protocol level, at the code level, as free and open as we possibly can. And the convenience of clicking our buttons, the really pretty buttons that we're going to make this easy for traders and normal people and for grandma and grandpa, we'll be able to put a fee on that layer. But again, it won't stop anyone from building out their own fee structure if they want to, or building out their own interface.
Are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal, and when they got back there was only...
But why?
22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's great.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
All right, GMCG guys, we are back with a new week and markets are bouncing, which is great. Glad to see the markets doing well. Today you'll have Chill and myself on stream today. We'll do a little bit of, we'll do 30 minutes kind of looking through charts, looking through macro. And then we have Liminal Cash on at 1 p.m. to give an update just on how their development's been going and what they've achieved since their show before the new year. So yeah, Chill, what's up? How you doing?
GMCG, everyone. Josh, beard or no beard or
yeah,
no stash?
Yeah, I had to clean it up. It was getting a little out of hand, you know. It's bad when you're eating food and it's getting stuck in your beard. So yeah, we're cleaning that up.
Solid. No, it's gonna be a good week. Markets heard MCG was going live at 12 p.m. and thus pumped to reclaim 70K. So hope you guys are enjoying the market relief that we're having. Let me actually
I also caught a little bit of a lick here. So I had some ETH that I had unstaked like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I got to put this to work. And on Saturday, I think it was, or Sunday at $27, I just slammed it all into Hyperliquid, and that has absolutely been Rip City. So I'm pretty stoked about my Hype trade. Hype trading $33. It was up like, I don't know, 9% on Sunday. Just absolutely ripping here. So, Gotta say I'm pretty happy with that. I'll try and get a screenshot on the timeline for that trade because that was nice. I think we're back to posting trades on the timeline again, so that's helpful.
Nice little lick on Hype. Actually, Hype has been one of the stronger charts. If you guys ever noticed on my trading view, whenever I pull it up, I have like these like different labels. And on my green labels are all the tickers that I'm bullish on. And if you notice right here at the top is Hype, Hyperliquid. And they've been doing it's been very, very strong. We noted the strength after it like broke out of this multi-month downtrend here. And it's just been doing a really good job of staying above. We kind of broke below this green line here. But with a nice little quick reclaim of it. So Josh's buy here at 27 was literally probably the best area to buy over the last couple of weeks. Especially
I closed my eyes and just hit the buy button. So,
hey, sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it like that, let the inner bull win, let the inner bull take over and just hope for better days. You know what I mean? And in this case, you bought the right asset, outperforming pretty much everything else on the market. And it's been the strongest, honestly, since February 1st, I would say, or even late March.
Do you mind doing me a favor? Top right corner, you have USDT. Can you change it to ETH in terms of what the chart's denominated in? Yeah, I'm just curious if you search ETH there, what this is performing against ETH. Because that's the real.
It's been outperforming. Whew. Yeah, it's been outperforming. Yeah.
All right. Say less.
That's looking good. What else is looking good here? So, quick little context on Bitcoin that I wanted to provide. A lot of people, they're really, they're getting real bullish and everything, which is fine. Like, you know, I love to see the markets pump, and I hate to be this guy. I've been a bull ever since 15K. And I'm not a bear like here, but I am saying like, hey, let's just, you know, be cautious. We're coming up to our key level here at 70K. We reclaimed 70, or not reclaimed, but we went a little above 70K just for a moment there earlier today. But a lot of people are just, you know, oh my gosh, we're so bullish, we're so bullish, we're so bullish. And I think Trader Main said this wonderfully on his stream last week, where he basically said, how can it go from it's so over to it's so back so quickly? Like, how does the pendulum swing to and from so quickly? It's because it's a choppy environment, right? Literally down here at, you know, at 62K, down here at 62K, and you know, just a little above that at 63K, and just a little above that at 64K. Like, all these areas, it was like it's so over, it's so over. But as we see these small little pumps, you know, we saw the pump initially back in early February to 70K. We saw another pump to the 70K area. Recently, we had two pumps that tested 70K, and now we're testing 70K all over again. And it's so back. It's so back. It's a choppy environment, guys. That's why on chain is just complete AIDS with new pairs. And then, you know, for like a day or two, it's good. And then it goes back to being AIDS again. Like, it's because we're in a choppy environment. It's very hard to play this environment, and it's good to always keep things in context. So what's the context right now? We're going towards the top of a range. We've rejected off this 70.8K level every time we've came into it since February 6th. So literally we're running into a multi-week resistance zone here. So yeah, just you know, keep that in mind here. You know, every time we get up to this level, we've pretty much rejected. And in my opinion, you should also kind of look at the stats for the last, like, I think it was like 8 or 10 months of Mondays, or the beginning of the month. So let me actually show you this. I don't know if you guys again, we've talked about Killer XBT here on the show quite a few times. I've added him to the Chad's list. But here, Killer XBT, he covers the new monthly open. He says over the past 6 to 8 months, BTC has typically gained 6 to 7% on average from the start of a new monthly open. BTC has only experienced significant drops following a new monthly open when the market was already on the brink of a major trend shift. And as you can see, this chart goes back all the way to January 2025, and it's been or I should say, I'm sorry, July 2025, and this trend has played out more often than not. And so now we are in we've gotten the new monthly open, and here we are up 4%. And again, typically we'd go up 6 to 7% on average, so we're already up 4%. We're heading into a multi-week resistance. And on top of that, we are also having a multi-month trend that's played out since July of last year, where we'd pump going into the new monthly open, but, you know, completely retrace after that. So look, take that for what it's worth. I love when markets pump. I love seeing the green candles, but that doesn't mean, while we can rejoice to you know, that the green candles are here, at the same time, I'm not just like, you know, longing everything. I'm not, you know, absolutely like just going just aping into, like, you know, random stuff on chain. I'm not losing my mind is what I'm saying. I'm not just, you know, letting my emotions take over here. But good to see this here play out. Crypto Jones, we're going higher. 85K, here we come. Really? You think so? Let's see. I mean, I don't know. What's the rationale? GM Dom, the homie.
Yo, what's up, Dom? How you doing, bro? Man, the 85K thing. So Jones Rita, if you guys remember, said he was bearish and moved to 85 and was actually more interested to see us kind of clear out below a little bit the 59 area. I think he was mentioning. We did end up kind of testing like 62, 63 there. So I don't know if that was enough for him because he was on kind of as we were chopping through on the 16th, I believe. But yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that, do you want to check in on this virtual bacon tweet that Dom tagged for us?
Yeah.
See where I can
Yeah.
find
Let me see here.
There's like a 1-minute video thesis there.
Let me pull that up real quick. So virtual bacon, if you guys don't know, really good Chad there. Really good Chad. He's been in crypto for a while.
Ave, what's
And
up?
what's up, Ave? GM. And he's been doing some great calls in the market. So let's see if I can pull this up. I'm still trying to track it down. Virtual bacon. Here we go.
Here.
Awesome.
Oh, you got it?
I got it. Yeah. All right, so let's watch this quick video on his thesis. I have to stop sharing and reshare so my audio comes through on you guys' side. So let me do that real quick here. Boom. So before we share the video, he says Bitcoin's 200-week SMA sits at 58K. We're 9% away. 13 years of data. If you bought at this level every time, you'd be in profit 12 plus of those years. The only red stretches were measured in days, not months. Don't overthink this one. So here's the full thesis by Virtual Bacon.
This is my target. In the last bear market, if we look at the moving averages, we still have the 200-week simple moving average, which is at 58,000. The 200-week simple moving average was touched in June 2022 and briefly wicked below, and then it started to consolidate a bit around there before going quite a bit lower than that, about 25% lower after FTX collapsed. But the 200-week simple moving average is also significant in 2020 during the COVID crash. In 2018, it marked the absolute low of the bear market. And even back here, in 2015, and it was touched 4 times in the bear market, but it never closed below on a weekly time frame. So that's the second level that we can watch. The first level is 65K, the previous all-time high. We are already there. If you agree with that thesis, it's already a good time to buy. The second level is 58K, the 200-week simple moving average. This is my target. In the last bear market, if we look at the moving averages, we still have the 200-week simple moving average, which is at 58,000. The 200-week simple moving average was touched in June 2020 and briefly wicked below, and then it started to consolidate a bit around there, going quite a.
So what's your thought on
overall
this
thesis? Honestly, I like the setup. I like his approach to this. Here's the reason why. When you let me actually hit the fast forward here. I think the most important part now, 2022 was an interesting era in crypto history for everyone that was there. At the end of the day, our whole industry collapsed on itself, and so that pushed prices a lot lower than they were ever supposed to go, in my opinion. When you have things like Olympus DAO, things like Terra Luna, things like centralized exchanges, these VCs, like there's a lot of people that were taken out on a stretcher, a lot of forced selling that had to be done, etc. So yeah, there's a lot there that forced us lower. But if you look, going back to 2020 there, going back to 2015, that's really good historical context for you as we come up to a place where, we're about to kind of hit that same level. So I say all of that to say, this again lines up with our potential summer bottom. We've been talking about this for a little bit now. I think I shared this last week or the week before for the first time, but I am seeing more and more signs of a potential summer bottom. And just to give you guys a little bit more context on this, a little bit more context, I'll share with you the exact same chart. So the white line represents the potential summer bottom that we could see this year. We've talked a lot about the reasoning behind that, the thesis behind that. We don't have to go through that today, but maybe we can share that with you guys again in a full segment at some point, and we can put it all together. But there's basically been multiple areas of confluence to say, hey, look, the move that we're seeing now, it could be nearing its end. And he said 58K was the tap on the moving average there. So 58K puts us at the bottom of this range, right? Like it puts us right about here. And so it's reasonable to expect that potentially, like we've done in the past, like we've done in 2017, 2022, 2015, we could potentially wick below or even revisit some area below that. But shortly after, we typically see the market kind of find its bottom and go ahead to find higher prices. So I say all of that to say this thesis that I've had over the past, over the past few weeks, just in regards to ranging throughout the next few months, and then as we move into Q3, closing out or at some point, perhaps even in the summer, go ahead and reverse to see some higher prices. So again, like everywhere I look, I constantly see an indication of a summer bottom. And so that strengthens my thesis. And that to me looks pretty good.
So I want to bring this up. Jones Rita from Feb 20th basically laid out here. So this is about a week and a half ago. Looked for a liquidation cascade to 62K on BTC to be bought. And actually, if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, if you can throw open on an hourly basis there, we literally, that's basically exactly what we got. So Feb 20th, if you kind of look back, where was Feb 20th on this chart?
Right here.
Yeah, perfect. So he got that. And did we cascade to what did we get there on that kind of double bottom? Was that 62?
66.4 on Feb 20th.
Right, but to the right there on the what was that, the 26, 27, like what's
that 62, 62.3.
So
that's crazy.
Jones Rita, man, like
this guy.
Crazy. Yeah, this guy. So yeah, there's the
Mike
liquidation cascade, Mike Quant. So he did make it. You guys got to go back and watch it on your own time. Something about rapid moves to 75K. So we'll have to see if this 70K move holds. But yeah, anyways, found that kind of funny. And line again, all these things kind of lining up. So
yeah.
Cool. We have 11 minutes, just heads up. I don't know if you want to whip into some charts. I know CPT's mentioned here. I don't know if you had anything on the watch list. Nook, we got to look at Nook because man, that seemed to do something from Friday. So
yeah, couple of our stuff on Fridays, dude. All right, let me go through one thing with you guys. So I don't know if you guys remember the Juno chart from Friday.
Oh God,
I literally bottom tick that to the exact price. I just want to claim a little bit of clout here. We probably might revisit the area again, but I haven't touched this chart since we looked at it, guys. I haven't touched this chart since we looked at it. Go back to Friday's stream. I drew out these circles, and I literally drew out this last circle, and I said, look, I'm looking at Sunday. Sunday might be a bad day for us. So I can see that dragging the price down. And it literally ticked this exact box and circle for the DCA one. So I just wanted to highlight that. But that's just me kind of being stupid and trying to claim a little clout there. But I think some of these levels still hold. We might still, meaningfully see a pullback to the DCA 1. I don't know if we get to the DCA 2. Crypto Jones Rita sounds like a smart gal, but what does Jones Rita? Jones Rita sounds like a smart gal, but what does Jones Rita think? Dude, they were getting on us on Friday, I believe. The way we pronounced Jones's name.
Yo, greetings, Kings Ventali. Yo, Crypto Jones, this is funny, bro. And honestly, hey, Crypto Jones, are you hopping on MCG at some point? I saw a little DM that maybe you might be hopping on MCG sometime. So you're definitely
Would love it,
welcome
bro.
to. Yeah, I would love
Would
to
love it,
chop
bro.
it up. Crazy weekend war. Dude, man, I know. But again, guys, what did I say on Friday? I said that, if it were to happen, it would be quick. And by Monday, we kind of all, life is normal. Obviously, we got the oil spike and whatnot, but it wasn't the end of the world and ended up being a good weekend for crypto. But yeah, here's another one, Chill. Great spot.
Yeah, another great buy zone. We talked about Banker as well. I kind of view it as kind of infra for the entire AI agents meta. It's not just a deploy tokens with a tweak type of thing, but it's tooling for AI agents, infrastructure for them, ways for them to generate revenue to survive and pay their own API costs and things of that nature. Pay their own API costs and things of that nature. So pull back to the 0.786, showing great reaction here, and that we're sitting nicely in this buy zone that I have had for quite some time. So looking really good there on Banker. Another one that I wanted to shout out here was Kelly Claude, man. Kelly freaking Claude, man. I don't know if you guys saw my recent tweet on Kelly Claude, and I can pull that up here in a moment. But basically, Kelly Claude is an autonomous app studio, if you will. And basically, this app studio, what it does is it creates apps autonomously. So let me show you this tweet real quick here. Kelly Claude is becoming an autonomous, fully automated app studio. It ships apps autonomously 24/7, 365. App Store submissions are fully automated, and the output is equivalent to 5 or 6 engineer teams. This would include project managers, software engineers, designers, all that good stuff. Imagine an agent that can build, test, that can plan, build, test, and ship apps without human involvement. It even hired someone to deal with App Store rejections or questions. It literally hired a person to communicate with the App Store if there's any
That's wild.
discrepancies. And plus, this whole process will be proprietary, right? So it'll be fully owned by Kelly Claude, the agent. And the TAM is massive. The groundwork is being laid right now. And the building speed is unmatched. Because remember, 5 to 6 engineer teams building around the clock. And when I talk about TAM, I want to show you guys this tweet here that I mentioned. Other app studios are printing 5 million per month. There's a Chinese app studio printing 5 million per month with just 24 apps in their portfolio. So what happens when Kelly Claude is putting 5 to 6 engineer teams worth of effort and developing power to shipping this 24/7? And I'll link this to you, Josh, here in a sec. But that's the thesis there on Kelly Claude. And I say the groundwork is being laid because Kelly Claude, I believe last week we touched on this on Friday's Trader Radio, that they just broke the revenue just last week. So let me just see if I can pull this up real quick for you guys, because this was a tweet that was pushed out last week by Kelly Claude. And maybe I can't find it right now. Maybe it's too deep in on there. Oh, here it is, actually, right here. Kelly Claude, just last week on the 26th, we covered this on last week's Trader Radio. Finally, first revenue is trickling in from the App Factory. $132, all from Focus Fasting memberships, 5 more apps in review, many more in the hopper. So basically, These are people that are paying for this app that are non-crypto native. They have no idea that an AI created this platform. They have no idea. They are just literally paying for it. And I know this is just $132, but you have to understand that this is just the first. This is a proof of concept, number one, because Kelly Claude is not only a marketing. It's not only an app studio, but it also has a marketing factory. So it has the app factory to create apps, has the marketing factory to get it out there. And we're already seeing the early signs of proof of concept for this. And that comes, as they just hit App Factory V4, which has this huge, developer power that is behind it. And this all comes as, as the chart is still deep into our buy zone here, reclaiming a key level. So great place for me to add to Kelly Claude. Probably gonna end up doing that here in this region, but just wanted to call that one out because it looks absolutely amazing here, fundamentally and on the chart.
Yeah, guys, we talk about AI disruption on the show all the time. Like where does the value accrue to? And if shops like this, I mean, there's a lot of Web2 kind of AI, or not AI, sorry, app development shops out there. There's literally thousands of them, tens of thousands of them. And like, I'm sure billions of dollars at least of revenues out there that could be disrupted by something like this. And what we're looking for is these examples of the economic activity, whether it be Felix generating $40,000 from selling IP on the internet and disrupting kind of like the courses that people sell online, or something like this, like Kelly Claude disrupting app development shops, shipping apps, generating revenue, doing it at scale, all with autonomous AI. Wild stuff.
And as well, she'll be burning Kelly Claude tokens, by the way. So there's also like a deflationary aspect to this as well. Next one is Felix here. Again, I just have to claim cloud on this because we talked about this on Friday, and I hold the bags. I hold the Kelly Claude bags, and I told you guys,
nice.
I know I'm in Kelly Claude and I'm bullish on it, but it's pumped to new all-time highs. It's in price discovery. The next key place for support is sitting here at like just around 3 mil. And look at that. We're bouncing right off that area as we speak. Like, I don't know what to say, guys. Like, I'm literally giving y'all the trades. Like, I'm giving you exactly what you need. But yeah, so Felix, another good one, revenue generating and still doing really well. And in a good buy zone there. So Nook has not quite tapped our buy zone on Friday's stream. Just I think an hour, just like 15-20 minutes before the UFO dev came on. I literally told you guys, hey, we just broke back into the range, but it doesn't seem like it wants to go lower. Here's an entry. That was actually literally here. That was literally here. And then the next day it just absolutely like rallied and went up. So it's kind of cooled off a little bit since then, but it hasn't quite tapped the buy zone. I still think I'm gonna hold to my what I called out on stream last Friday, is that I don't know if it doesn't seem like it wants to go meaningfully below this level. So I don't know if we get the full pullback here into the buy zone. But again, another call. We called an audible. We did. I'll say that we called an audible midstream. But still, still dishing them out for you guys. A quick look at PsyOp Anime as well. A quick update on that trade. As you can see, we're breaking out of the range here, and PsyOp Anime just continues to get picked up by like so many like news, independent news outlets and stuff like that. And one of their recent tweets just from a few days ago actually went viral. Let's actually watch this real quick because this kind of talked a little bit about what was happening over the weekend. Here's this, and you can let me know if you can hear it, Josh.
中東での長期化した紛争は中国に台湾へ動く隙を与えかねない。全てを触れ、一撃で終わらせる。体制を切り落とす。
アメリカは間もなく攻撃に踏み切る。狙いは体制の背骨を折ることだ。その攻撃は長くは続かない。
他の勢力はどうだ。あの規模の反応に我々は備えがあるのか。
モスクワは語り、北京は見守る。どちらもテヘランのために血を流すことはない。重要なのは革命防衛隊がつまずいた後、何が空白を埋めるかだ。
君たちのアイアンドームが持ちこたえる限り、私は移行期を引き継ぐ準備ができている。
忘れるな、プリンスレザー。無名の淵から君を引き上げたのは我々だ。アイアンドームはこれらの野蛮人に対し、イスラエルの防衛線を守り抜いてきた。そしてこれからもそうする。それは破られない。
So that video there
So
from
good.
PsyOp Anime, 1.5 million views.
Oh my goodness.
This happened in just over 24 hours. So again, the thesis just continues to play out here. I get my news from PsyOp Anime. So again,
And it seems that traction ends up in the chart too, right? So, which is crazy.
Yeah. And I think it's more bullish. A lot of people would say, oh, well, they're not really pushing the token. They're not supposed to. They're like, the token is all community. It's all what the community does and the hype that they generate for it. It's not on them to push the token. All their job is to do is just cover the news. And they're working on a series. They're now expanded to YouTube. They're putting their video out elsewhere. And they don't need to push the token. That's the community's job, right? It's a meme coin at the end of the day, so it more so reflects community hype and attention, and it's tokenized attention at the end of the day. So yeah, I love the setup here on PsyOp Anime. Probably one of the better charts in my opinion on Solana, and I've said that multiple times. But there's the setup there. Now, guys, we got to go into our next segment.
Can we pull up the LIL chart as well?
Yeah, let me pull up the little chart real quick. Bang.
The little chart, little. Yeah, I think it's that one there.
Boom. Nice. Actually, nice little dang, this is up 2x off the bottom. Actually, a little bit more than 2x if you ask me. Just over the last couple of days. Yeah, I think we're just a little over 100% up. Yeah, 108, and not bad on this chart either. Looking at the price action off the bottom. So not much charting to do on this one. Maybe you can call this like a sort of rounded bottom, if you will, but not too much to say on this one. But it's encouraging to see that the buys come in here. So looking good. Excited to see number one kind of catch up on what they've been doing, how things have been coming along. But we probably need to start out with just a little bit of background on Liminal itself for some of the new audience members that might not be familiar.
What's up, Jack?
What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've had you guys on. I know probably what it was once or
October?
twice before. Yeah.
November? Do you remember when it was, Jack?
October.
Yeah, October probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Last time we were on, we were just about to launch on test flight, I think. Just pre-App Store. So it would have been around then, I'm pretty sure.
Got it. Well, look, glad to have you back on the show. So for the new audience members here, let's just get a little bit of background on Liminal and as far as what you guys are building, and we can kind of work our way up to where we are now.
Sure, yeah. Well, I think last time I was on, so if there's any repeat listeners, we were talking about building this basically neobank on chain. Our whole engineering team has come from a company called Thought Machine, who builds core banking systems for loads of tier one banks like Standard Chartered and JP Morgan, and it's too many to name. So we know how to build banks, and now we're building one on chain. So stablecoins are the form of money, and the blockchain is the ledger. And I think last time we spoke, it was just more about how we can plug stablecoins into different sort of payment schemes, so you can send money internationally around the world. And we're targeting sort of international people, global citizens, like international students and digital nomads, and people like that. But I think that the developments since then, there's probably like 4 things to touch on. One is, like I said, last time we were on, just about to go into test flight. Now we're just about to get onto the App Store and the Google Play Store. So those submissions are in. We're just in this review process, which for any kind of financial app is there's a lot of back and forth. But that will be done imminently. And the sort of little angle here is that any holders are going to get priority access. So if you don't have a bag, you should grab it now if you want to be first onboarded.
How many tokens do you have to have? So like a minimum?
I think the way we'll do it is like ranked ordering. So like whoever's got the most, we'll get them on first, and then like work our way down. So we can kind of phase in the control the flow a bit more into the onboarding and make sure everything's looking good.
Yeah. To confirm, so yeah, you start with a neobank. Did you, in your preamble there, did you pivot to focusing on stablecoin cash, or are you still kind of consider a neobank? Like how do you describe the project now? Was there any pivot? Yeah. And there might not have been, right? It might have been just kind of executing.
I think the same. Like we've still built out the full sort of banking functionality. So right now we have a savings account. We have cross-border transfers across 60 different countries. You can, top up into your own virtual IBAN, which lands directly into stablecoins in your wallet. What we're looking at now is 2 things. One of them is tokenized stock trading. So directly from your stablecoins, being able to purchase tokenized equities. And that's in the dev environment at the moment. We're just kind of doing in the testing phase of that before we push it to prod. I think the plan there is more, let's get our foot through the door with Apple. With something light, and then we'll add these kind of features in next. But the next angle is NIM, which is our like AI agent. So every single user gets this sort of chat interface in the app. And what we're doing right now is building out the command line interface over our banking stack. So we have this whole payments, savings, soon tokenized stock trading. We're wrapping that all up into a CLI. And the reason for this is like the native language of an AI agent. So we're building like an execution environment in which the AI agent can build programs, like compose our CLI as the primitives of financial operations and build that up into much more complex operations. Like, imagine being able to talk to it and being like, I want to buy NVIDIA when it hits 180. And the agent just goes and writes a little program, sets it up in the sandbox environment and executes it for you. And this is only really possible because stablecoins are the money of AI agents. So that's like the new like this, it's just an expansion on the vision. We've built this entire like banking stack, and now we're making it AI native.
What is the user experience there? Just to continue on from the CLI piece. So I have the app open on my phone. I think you just described, I talked to it, but what do I see on screen? Like, do I see it kind of going through and like, executing steps and then executing the trade, and then I get the graph and chart, and then I see my P&L, like, or is it, like command line interfaces, a lot of the AI agent, stuff we see with Claudbot, you're literally using command line, which is pretty brutal for people who don't know how to code. But just walk through, like, what does the user actually see and experience when they talk to their agent?
That is a terrible user experience. So all of our engineers use Claude Code. So we're all very much like happy on the command line, running commands. But I guess we take the same philosophy as we've taken with stablecoins and the blockchain, and we want to abstract this from the user because we don't think our user needs to know, like, is it USDC, is it USDT, is it on Solana, is it on Arbitrum? And we take that same philosophy with the AI, which is why we're building it in a way where it runs the programs behind the scenes. All the user needs to see is like, what's the end result of this? What's this in like natural language? But but there's a sort of a next layer you can build on top of that, which is like chats are just kind of boring, just block text, just a lot to read. Like if it was like, yeah, I'm going to buy NVIDIA at this price and it's going to do this and the chart's looking like this. So you can build these UI components that feed into the chat, and the conversation loop is able to surface these elements, whether that's a chart or whether that's the results of a web search, just to really make the user experience the same as you would expect from the sort of normie ChatGPT side.
So I guess the question that I had was, why did you guys choose to kind of put AI agents within the platform? Like, is the broader vision for you for users to be able to do even more than just like these simple trades, or do you see AI as being like a key component in a neobank? Like, how are you guys thinking about that? We know AI is disrupting many industries at this point.
Yeah, so this is a great question. I think you can look at it in like generationally. So if you look at the boomers, they got the desktop, which kind of organized their messy desks into a digital workspace. My generation, we got the phones, which is like an extension of you now. It's like you don't go anywhere without it. It's like a fifth limb, and that kind of takes the information and displays it quite nicely in a UI. But this next generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, these are the people who are growing up with LLMs, and this will be like an extension of them. If you're a neobank that isn't building this AI layer on top of it, like you're just not building the future.
Interesting.
With and maybe through your research, like, are banks like Revolut and others going to have something similar to this? Or do you think because the agents natively use stable coins that more crypto native neobanks or applications like yourselves are just going to have an advantage because they, this is native to the tech stack you already build with?
I think it is much harder to build this on top of a traditional banking stack. So a lot of the times this, I think there's two reasons to this. There's the authentication mechanism. Like legacy payment systems are not set up for agents to execute on them. Like especially in Europe, you need to, there's something called, I won't go into the regulatory side of it, but you need to like be able to scan your like thumb or do a Face ID, like prove that you are a human, or get a OTP code or something like this in order to be authenticated into the payment system. And then the other side is cards. Every single card transaction incurs like a 50-cent flat fee, or the merchant is paying 3%. If the world is moving towards these agentic payment systems where microtransactions are really important, cards can't do it, and the traditional rails, it's really hard to authenticate an agent. Stablecoins are the money for AI.
Yeah. Jill, did you have a question there? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit through like what's your users looking like. I know you mentioned that you guys have something going out for test flights. You have users lined up, or has there been kind of interest from your community and kind of using some of these new features? Like how have the user metrics been so far?
Yeah. So we're looking at, I think we're at like 150 users at the moment, but we're kind of limited by test flight and how many we could onboard. We've still got a wait list that is growing and growing. We feel confident that we're at a stage now where we can release to the masses, get everyone off that wait list and start moving more into our growth phase. So we've been focusing on retention first, like how can we make sure users consistently use the app, and how can we like stop the bucket from leaking, keep users coming back, and that's the reason why we're building out these kind of systems. Yeah, I guess stay tuned, because this is in Apple's hands now. We're just basically waiting for the tick, but then we'll see those charts go up. And the other side is that's just on like daily active usage. But if you look at our payment volumes, I think this month we did like 70,000 real, which last month we were doing nowhere near that. So we're just trying to get these hockey stick graphs across all the metrics.
70K real. What currency is that? Sorry.
That's Brazil. Oh yeah, so our whole engineering team is in Brazil at the moment. Brazil's quite an interesting country. It's one of the only ones where Visa and MasterCard don't have a dominant presence. So everyone uses Pix here, which is it's an account-to-account payment system, and it's quite good because it's very easy for us as a stablecoin neobank to piggyback off the Pix network, much easier than it is to piggyback off Visa and MasterCard. So we're on the ground trying to make sure that via your Liminal app, like if any shop you go to here, if it's a street vendor, if you're buying renting a car or a scooter, or just doing your weekly shop or buying stuff online, it's all PixPay. So the reason we've got all the engineers on the ground here is we're looking to integrate directly into these payment systems, so people here can just spend just as easily as with the traditional apps.
You mentioned 150 DAUs or users. Any metrics around those, like average balance, volumes? I don't know if lifetime value is what you would track at this early stage, but any just kind of like key insights you think are showing, signs of early traction?
As I was saying, we kind of track this on aggregate. So we're looking at there's a few key metrics like the off-ramping currency. You can hold like euros or dollars in the account, but then you can send it to 60 different countries. So we've seen Brazil have a big spike up to that 70,000 rate. I think that's about $20,000. But then we're seeing GBP is quite high, euros are quite high. But we're seeing the biggest spike in Brazil, which is why we've kind of focused our attention here. The savings balances, I can't remember that off the top of my head.
No worries. It's just trying to, everyone obsesses over certain metrics on their product to see how things are going. So I just wondered if you had some similar metrics you're looking at.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This month has got to be even bigger. So that's our main focus.
Are you guys in the Pump Fund Build in Public hackathon?
We are, yes. That was another thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, we are.
So
I think I've seen like 100 teams, I think, in it. 10 winners left to go.
Yeah, give us the rundown. I mean, just talk a little bit about for those who don't know what the hackathon is, how it could benefit your business, but I'll talk about how you guys have been competing. I saw you've been doing these a day at the hackathon, these reviews. So yeah, walk us through.
Yeah. Well, I guess we launched on Pump Fund, and that's how we got to talk to you guys the first time. It all kind of stemmed from this. So building in public has been something that we've tried to commit to as much as possible. Sometimes it's a bit harder than hard to do consistently, but they launched this hackathon. I think I already build fairly in public, so it's just like, oh, okay, I tweet a bit more about it, then that seems quite good. But yeah, they'll do an investment into the company for the winners. There's not much information on it, to be honest. It was basically if you have a certain amount of supply, you're kind of eligible to apply. And then we got through, and now the plan is I build in public basically. So every day I try and stream on Pump Fund, show what we're building, and I like just giving a roundup of the places where we're getting stuck, or where the architecture has to change slightly, or just to.
Have you pitched to Tim Draper yet?
Not yet, but we are gearing up for our next fundraising round. So yeah, we'll
maybe remind us. You had raised, I think, a small round already, and kind of what is that? Who are those investors, and then kind of what does this round look like?
So we have support from people like veterans across the crypto industry, from Gnosis Pay to Crypto.com, as well as some zero knowledge kind of privacy side of things, and and traditional finance. We raised, I want to say 300K overall. But then the revenue from Pump Fund has meant that we basically haven't even touched into that cash yet. Like we've still got like 14 months runway. It's just the reason we're raising now is to increase the pace, to hire more, to grow the team, to ship faster. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Congrats on all that.
Crypto Jones here in the chat has a really good question. He says, could you walk us through a few use cases that you're excited about? I guess just generally, like, just talk about the use case of a neobank, but like the use case for Liminal specifically, you know, whatever your moat is, and then kind of get into some of those use cases you're excited about.
I think the best place to start is on the AI side. Right now, it's basically just it's a conversation loop that can execute tool calls. But what we're moving towards is a conversation loop that can write mini programs over our CLI. And then the question just becomes like, can you give it the right primitives so that it can, like, the more you give it, the more, what's the word? Expressive it can be, and build up these programs that combine these in all the ways that previously that would be like, you know, if I want to do a scheduled limit buy, like that's a whole feature that I need to implement. Here it's just like, does the user want it? Talk to the agent and they can have it. And then there's also the agentic commerce side. So there's, you know, Amazon, eBay, Etsy. In Brazil here it's Mercado Libre. All of these, if you can plug in that sort of stablecoin payment gateway that pays for these goods, then you open up the world of agentic commerce. I think right now it's just most of what these agents are buying is tokens for the LLM to sustain itself and data. So there is like your agent will pay for some stock price information or tokens to keep itself running. But it's kind of geared more towards the casino side of crypto. Whereas we're trying to build it into just everyday life. So just being able to get your agent to go out and purchase a plane ticket is the common example. But or even, you know, imagine we're building out a network as well. Like this is Liminal users can send money to other Liminal users. What if their agents can communicate with each other? What if their agents build up like a memory system that learned something about the way it trades and the way it makes money, and that agent can sell that data to another agent? Like these are the kind of things that become possible with what we're building. But yeah, we're starting with that like programmability, like having the agent actually being able to write a program composed of these primitives from the CLI.
Chill, yeah. Did you want a follow-on question on that?
No. I didn't have a follow-on.
Yeah, I wanted to get into two things. You know, we'll kind of start getting into or wrapping this in the next like 5 or 6 minutes, but just want to touch on just your revenue model here and how the agents play into that revenue model, which is honestly pretty exciting because I guess like theoretically maybe it increases the velocity of like what people are doing on the app. I think most banking apps, people like open it, like pay a bill, exactly, close it, and then like come back in 3 weeks. So I'm curious on that. And then your team, I remember you saying your team was like stacked, a lot of people from some pretty big Web2 existing finance companies. And maybe we'll end off with your team and just some final thoughts. But yeah, talk to us a bit about the revenue and business model there.
Sure. So I think there's 2 ways we make money at the moment, which is on the, like, we take a tiny little fraction of the like FX on cross-border transfers. That's still incredibly low. Like Wise is the best example of someone who does cross-border payments. Their average fee is around 0.5%. Our average fee is like 0.15%. So we're basically 5 times better than Wise on cross-border transfers, and we're still able to make revenue off that. And then the other side is on the chat. So LLMs are very expensive to run. You need a kind of way of rate limiting usage. So what we're thinking about there is using Lil as like a credit system for buying these tokens. And this obviously, you know, the more value you want to get out of the chat, the more you need to talk to it. It also builds up this memory of you. It learns about what you care about and the types of equities that you might want to buy, or the types of shoes that you might want to buy. Like it will just build up all this kind of memory system. But we need a way of sort of rate limiting that usage, and we think Lil is the perfect use case for that. So we'll be basically, if you can buy some Lil, get it into the app, then you can basically use that as credits. And then we make revenue off that in a few different ways, like from the creator rewards and from there's also like subscription tiers you can do, but we're right now we're just trying to
What
keep
about
fees
swap fees on the trades that the agents are making?
What do you mean? So we
like if I buy an asset on Liminal, do you have a small trading fee, I'm assuming?
There is a 20-cent flat fee on trades. So that's
pretty competitive, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Our philosophy here is we want to keep all these fees as low as possible, and instead of building something that extracts value like traditional fintech has done, we think we can make loads of money by creating something really valuable. So we don't want to just grab fees at every sort of transaction point. We think we can build this AI system that is so valuable that there'll be many ways to monetize.
One of the early ways like Binance's BNB really got traction is they use BNB. If you had it on the platform, you got like preferred trading fee tiers, and there's just like so many of these little like mechanisms they implemented. Like, do you see Lil doing kind of something similar for your product? I mean, you mentioned it being used as like a compute credits or something for the agents.
Yeah.
Any other kind of...
the other thing we're looking at is like on the FX fees, like if it's 0.15% today, maybe hold a certain balance of Lil, use that to offset the price, and then basically cross-border fees go to zero. Yeah, we are definitely looking into that.
Cool. Any other things you want to announce, discuss, or share? And then just maybe end off with just who is building this product again. Of course, we know you, Jack, but who else is on your team? So
we have this cracked front-end dev, Fez. So he's taken my attempt at the mobile. I mean, we started as a web app, but he's basically built the whole thing again from scratch from the last time we spoke. And he's got the app into a state where we can actually get it submitted into the App Store. And then we've got Luke, who is our backend engineer. He's an expert in payment systems and like cloud computing infrastructure, but on both the infrastructure and the product side. So he's helped sort of double the pace on the back end as well. We'll probably need a new front end guy soon, so Fez can keep pushing features out. And then we'll be doing a fundraise soon, so we'll be expanding that team, but probably looking to get some more people on the crypto side in, and the AI side.
Awesome. Do you have like community managers and stuff like in a Telegram? I'm sure there's a little Telegram somewhere that you're a part of.
We've been running like hackathons where we go to universities and we basically unleash them on our agentic SDK and let them build like extend the tool set of our AI agents. So like some people have built like scheduled payments on it. Some people have built so like someone bought something on a Shopify store. There's a Telegram group chat, but it's more geared towards that. Most of what we do is on Twitter, on X.
Awesome. Anything, any other final things you want to leave us with, announce, or, something I can put in the show notes?
I think just the main thing is stay tuned for the app release. Make sure you hold some Lil so you can get early access. And yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, look, Jack, we
Also,
really
anything
appreciate
you
you.
can do to help us win the Pump Fun Hackathon. That would be great.
Absolutely.
We do
good.
have some friends over there, but I don't think we carry as much sway as you think we do. But yeah, no, hey Jack, I think it's a great piece. Maybe what's your next step with that hackathon? Like, so you submitted it, you got in. Like, do you have to do a pitch? Like, what's your next step there?
The idea it's just build in public. It seems like quite arbitrary how they select the winners.
Okay.
So my strategy is just build in public, try and tweet as much as possible, show what we're building, and hope for the best.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jack, so much for joining. Great update. Great update. Glad to see you're working hard and things are working out and you got great runway. Crypto Jones, we did talk about token utility. Lil being used as credits on the platform for agents, as well as potentially for preferred FX tiers. And I don't know if I missed anything, Jack.
Yeah, so like maybe like boosted yield on the savings, like these kind of things, different tiers, and but that's all being built out as we speak.
Got it.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Well, look, all the best to you guys in the hackathon. And thanks for coming on the show. Of course, we'd love to have you guys back. So, you know, if there's anything else you'd love to share, you know, definitely.
App Store release, 20,000, daily active users, 100,000 agents deployed on the platform.
Hackathon win.
Like
whatever.
100 million in volume. Yeah, let us know.
Okay, next month then.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll see you. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, see ya.
What a legend.
Dude. By the way, dude, I'm telling y'all, man, watching MCG live is just the craziest alpha you can get live in the space right now. So Kelly Claude is ripping right now. It's breaking out right now. Kelly Claude is breaking out right now. So if you watch the stream on Friday, you watched it earlier today, bang, that's absolutely ripping. Seeing a bounce just across the board on a lot of base tokens. Even the dip on Juno is getting eaten up. The dip here on Felix is getting bought up really, really nicely. So again, I don't know how much more accurately you want me to call these moves, man, but we're definitely calling them here. Let me see here. I have a few other things that I wanted to touch on as well, Josh, but anything that you wanted to start out with?
Let's wrap up like kind of like any base stuff. I definitely do want to go through a few things about Bags app. They announced a bunch of stuff on Friday just after we got off. So why don't we wrap the base segment? Anything else you're looking at?
I think Dom flagged.
Oh yes,
VVV.
VV. Yeah, let's do that.
So let's do that here. And I think there was a tweet by tweet by Money Lord, if I'm not mistaken. I saw him do a full breakdown of VVV over the weekend. So maybe we get into that. I think other than that, we pretty bullish our lineup tomorrow, by the way. There's some alpha there. One of the projects on base that we have on tomorrow that's looking really good.
Requests for virtual as well. And yeah, dude, that project, it went from like 80K. The guy's like, oh, I want to be on MCG 80K. It's now like $500,000. So yeah, Benny White there, former NFT guy. He worked at like Adidas.
It was because
back in the day, which is funny.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, like he did Adidas's
popped off.
Oh, did it? Oh, like bro, Agent 2.0 season is like full on right now.
Yeah. I think it was good. I'll share that real quick. But tomorrow we have this guest coming on. And basically, this is what the revenue looks like. Apparently, there was some deal that was signed, and so they went from like sub 3K or sub 2K in revenue to 10K here today. So like this was at 6:30 in the morning. So maybe
Yo.
like 6 hours ago. So yeah.
Shout out Benny White. Holy.
So we'll be having them on tomorrow. So
Damn.
look out for that. And I'll
Can
probably
you throw
end up,
can you pop this chart open?
yeah, 100%. 100%.
This chart actually, Amber Vibe is what it's called.
Yeah, let me hit Amber Vibe on here. Boom, boom, and boom. So here's the chart, guys. Just
Holy bro.
It's freaking ripped, dude. Look, straight up. So yeah, like we said, you know, kind of had eyes on this, and then bang, it's up. It went up, 550% almost. And it's in price discovery right now. So if I'm looking for entries on this, it's, a lot of times you'll see as the New York session closes and we go into like the Asian session, like if you're in Eastern time overnight, depending on how the vibes of on chain are looking, you'll see a lot of dips happen overnight. So sometimes before you go to bed or before you log off, set a couple bids. We have a cluster of buys here, and I'm on the 12 hour, so I'm looking super high time frame for these on-chain tokens. But I think in this case it's actually not a bad place to look. Basically, if we were to come back down to like the golden pocket is where I would really put this green box, or where I would put a limit order if I was looking to buy this chart. But let me just do this real quick. Buy zone, boom, 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 buy zone. And if you see the all-time high retest would basically be like right here, somewhere here. So I wouldn't mind doing a little bit above, or a little bit above the support and do a golden pocket. We're seeing a lot of like demand on these pullbacks, like especially when the pullbacks come right after the green candles. That's when, again, discovery, these green candles serve as market discovery. But we could see in like the next 12-hour candle, this kind of take a little bit of a dive down. I don't know if you guys see it here. We had like, these up candles, and then it cooled off, and then now it proceeded to rally again. So, now that CT is aware, we could maybe even see like a pullback to the 0.786. So just under 250K. I'd honestly, I'd be cool with 250K. I'm good with the 250K pullback on this. I mean, this is a micro cap.
Is this the Amber Felix barbell? Because they've generated similar revenues for what it's worth.
So if I'm looking at creating a barbell, I'd go Kelly Claude Felix for like a high market cap. If you're like no exposure yet, like I'd go Felix and potentially an Amber Vibe. But there's a few options that you have. There's also Singularity Engine as well. This is another one I've been looking at that kind of has like it's more closer to the support area, and it's like it's looking like it wants to break out of this like range that it's formed here. So Singularity Singularity
What
Engine.
is the ticker on this thing? Is it just Singularity?
The worst ticker ever. Singularity Engine. The worst. The worst. The worst of the worst, bro. But yeah, this one was good. I think some of the boys were calling this one out. The Med Body, the homie, he posted about this. Boom. Basically, he says that it's a sort of beta to VVV and that's what we're about to discuss, VVV. So to transition into that, this is kind of beta on that. Basically, it's a rebellion against centralized censorship and privacy violating big tech AI. So he's building a decentralized, private, cost-efficient alternative to fragmented SaaS AI, turning rented chatbots into owned, networked, agentic ecosystems. So I get that's a lot of buzzwords. I have to do a little bit more research into this. Like I said, I was kind of just looking at it, especially when you mentioned that it's kind of beta to VVV, kind of makes me want to dig into it a little bit more. So I'll be doing that over the next, over today. I might share some thoughts in the TG if I feel so inclined. And so if you're in there, you can probably catch that. But now let's transition to VVV real quick before we and then we'll go into some of our Solana bags. But VVV basically is a sovereign generative AI platform designed by Eric Voorhees.
Yeah,
Voorhees. I remember him from doing a debate with SBF a while back. A few years ago. That was like the moment I was like, oh, okay, that's who Eric is. All right. But yeah,
I mean, yo, in fairness, he's an OG. Like he was doing
he's a
cool stuff like for a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure there's much bigger things he's known for, but my first encounter with him was that, and yeah, like even at that point he was considered a crypto OG, so he's the OG of the OGs, if you will. But basically, this VVV is private AI. Essentially, is the narrative. So they use things like zero knowledge proofs. To basically protect your data. He said, ChatGPT and Claude store your data. They're heavily censored by corporate and government guardrails, which we kind of saw evidence of that over the weekend. With the challenges that Anthropic has, with them denying the government contract, now they're banned essentially. So, we can see how, governments and corporate interests can kind of influence these big AI models. And how perhaps how broadly they're used. But why VVV is a strong long-term play. The privacy AI meta is moving from a niche obsession to a massive market demand as users realize AI tools become part of daily workflows. More people are questioning how much of their data is being stored and analyzed by these big tech companies. So VVV is positioned as the deflationary capital asset of this ecosystem for several reasons. Okay, I like deflationary, not gonna lie. Always interested in deflationary assets. No VC sell pressure. It's self-funded by Eric himself. No venture, no VC firms waiting to dump. The yield and utility engine staking VVV isn't just for rewards. It gives you pro rata share of the platform's compute capacity. If you own 1% of the stake supply, you effectively own 1% of the total AI power of the network forever. Interesting. The DM mechanism, high frequency users convert staked VVV to DM, which grants them lifetime daily API credits. Wow. Okay. This locks liquidity and creates a secondary market for AI utility. Venice is not at startup phase because it is doing huge numbers with currently 2 million users. They have around 4 million monthly revenue with 20% compound monthly growth. Slashed emissions from 14-year to 6-year with burn rate of 1.5 million VVV burned annually via revenue buybacks. Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Dude, this was at the beginning of the year. This was $30 million. It's now trading 300.
Let's look at a chart. Holy mother. I think we have a
new this is killing me because I remember this launch and it was like the most fudded, like
yes, it was. I remember that
thing ever. And then it got sold off to nothing over the new year. And then yeah, dude, this is like
holy Jesus, look at this chart. Let me share this real quick.
Yeah, flip to that.
Jeez. All you needed to do is buy VVV. It's up well over like since the 20. Let's say if you bought VVV in December of last year, you're now up 722%. Jesus. Yeah,
and you could have sized into this, which is crazy.
Yeah, you could have sized into this. I mean, this chart looked messy earlier on, but like they literally just retraced all the way to these lows in December, and bang, just took off.
Yeah, and like Eric Voorhees is like a high integrity kind of person. I mean, what was it? As the Fox thing? I think I can't remember the wallet, but man, he fought the government for years, and it really hurt his business. But yeah, this is like,
this is pretty massive. I mean, oh, and look at this. This was a huge update that came from Eric himself. He said Venice is now the recommended model provider for OpenClaw. So that's also probably why this is receiving so much attention. actually real
So
quick.
it's like a foundation. It's like a frontier model in itself. Is kind of what we're talking here.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of want to just so I'm getting this. What are the implications for Venice? Just so I'm making sure that, because again, I'm just now like reading about this project for the first time alongside you guys. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. Chart looks pretty good. A king's mentality. Holy moly. Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. So yeah. Let's see.
If I understand this correctly, so you have VVV, which is a private like frontier model. And when I mean frontier model, this is your chat GPTs, this is your Anthropics, this is your whatever Meta has out there, Gemini. Like these big shops can create these big, large models, which they use a lot of training compute for. However, none of those economics flow through to investors, right? Those are all either private companies, or in Google's case, you have a lot, and Meta's case, you have a lot of other businesses that are wrapped into the stock price. Whereas this is kind of a pure play on one of these frontier models. So I'm assuming what they're doing is they have a frontier model, which is kind of the base level intelligence. And then they have this integrated tokenomic system where if you need to buy compute or you need to use the, buy tokens, and I don't mean crypto tokens, like tokens as in to use the model, there's some sort of tokenomics wrap in, which would make this kind of like a pure play, maybe the only pure play, like frontier AI opportunity here.
I mean, look, there is, so the part here for me that sticks out like a sore thumb is the tokenomics impact. So VVV utility boot, and then this is according to ChatGPT. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm just doing some DD here along with you guys. Staking VVV grants ongoing compute capacity rather than per request payments, making it an ideal place for autonomous agents that require constant inference without recurring cost. This tokenized compute model could drive token demand and value appreciation, especially with mechanisms like burns and staking yields. The endorsement signals long-term market confidence, potentially catalyzing speculative and utility-driven trading in the AI niche. That, and then secondly, here's this: exponential API demand. As OpenAI facilitates the creation of autonomous AI agents, token consumption for model inference shifts from linear to exponential patterns. This drives higher demand for reliable LLM gateways like Venice, potentially leading to surges in API calls and user growth. Venice's existing metrics, such as 99% uptime and day zero model launches, position it well to handle this scale. Early indicators show Venice already integrated as a default provider with official skills enabling seamless agent building. So just to summarize all of that, basically, these agents have to pay per API call. They have to pay per request to fund their own survival, essentially. And so instead of doing that on a recurring monthly basis, they basically just buy, how much ever percent of the supply that they need to do their compute. So like it says here, increased agent activity via OpenClaw could amplify their revenue from pro subscriptions and API usage. So like literally these agents, this is the place for them to come to literally buy the amount of compute or buy the amount of compute capacity that they need, and by just buying the token itself. So buying 1% of the stake supply gives you 1% of the compute capacity. And now these agents can run with that. That's a lifetime cost done for them. Right. So like this is with this being a preferred, venue or a preferred model provider for OpenClaw, this could funnel a lot of activity towards Venice, which could mean a ton of price appreciation. Josh, can I show the MCG audience where they could potentially trade this VVV on leverage by chance?
Sure, absolutely.
So there is a particular venue here, guys, that it's a trading terminal. It's really it's very sleek. They allow you to trade perps through Hyperliquid, but it's all native inside the terminal. And they actually allow you to trade one of the assets is VVV. You can trade it on 3x leverage. And so, this could potentially be like a good like pullback situation where if these trades pull back, it could be potentially good longs. And I can like just spin up like a quick little stream wallet with like nothing in it basically. And here is the terminal itself. As you can see on the right side here, you have, you have the 3x leverage that you can use. You have here the chart. Looks like very seamless, very nice, looks really good. As you can see, it's powered by Hyperliquid. And there's VVV along with a ton of other assets as well. I'm actually going to be trading copper on leverage, but they have stuff like Google, Meta, gold, copper, silver, and a ton of other assets. You can now trade all of these things completely on chain. And you guys have heard me say this before. If we are traders in this market is expanding day by day, month by month to include other assets outside of the memes or the sub 50K crappers that launch on Pump Fund, right? Like we have more options, more things that we can trade on chain. And so our trading style needs to adapt. And so, terminals like Trojan give you access to, TradFi markets.
Do you want
metals.
to flip to your tweet as well on on this?
Yeah, I can flip to that. I think that's
So you guys are getting a little bit of MCG alpha here, just so you know.
A little bit of alpha here, a little bit of
MCG
alpha here. Basically we saw last week what happened with Axiom, right? Basically last week there's a ton of like just kind of FUD around people unable to withdraw from Axiom. A lot of people saying, Axiom, you need to like get your funds off there, it's not safe, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have Zach XBT with the big expose on the insider trading for Axiom. And you'll also, if you follow any of the Axiom guys, there's actually one of them that is committed to putting out a Pump Fund expose. So it's basically scammers calling out scammers, right? Like insider traders calling out insider traders. And so that's really what it's bundled down to. And what I realized is, instead of going to some of these platforms, why not just go to a trusted platform, right? Something that a platform that cares about their users, that has a really, really nice experience. And I think that is Trojan. I've been using Trojan for about like a month or so. Maybe a little bit more than a month at this point, but I got introduced to them back in January, actually. And then, I started playing around with the platform. I love the gamified experience. Literally feels like I'm playing a game when I'm trading on chain. So really love that. But what I really like is they have like, what is it, like 45% cash back on your trades. So, of everything you get charged, you get charged your 1% in and out, but you get 45% of that back. That's the highest cash back that is offered on any platform. So that's
scroll down
that's
a bit?
yeah, that's something. They also have, like I mentioned, up to 50x leverage on stocks, metals, coins. TradFi.
Don't use that much leverage, guys.
Definitely don't use that much leverage.
Don't.
But me personally, I prefer 10x leverage. I don't typically go beyond that. It's really hard to call some of these moves when you're like levered up so high. So it's almost like gambling at a certain point. But the terminal itself, they have a ton of things coming in the roadmap, but they have like these when you trade against a gamified experience, you get like points, you get these gold coins that go to things like an airdrop. And I heard their airdrop might be a little massive. I'm not gonna lie. So just a little alpha there, but they have on-chain DD tools. They're expanding to base soon. They have a ton of features in the pipeline, and basically what they've done is they have like a group on Discord where all the users, they just submit like, hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you fix this? And like within 24, 48 hours, a lot of times, you know, some of these changes are being implemented.
What's
this,
that
I
link at
love
the
this.
bottom there?
And you know, if you guys want to use this link in the bottom, you know, it's code at MCG, wink wink. You know, you'll trade with some discounts. You'll get some boosted stuff as well. So a lot of good things.
You'll get
we'll
the
have a
best boosted stuff, by the way, through that link.
Yes.
So
Literally, guys, like y'all know us, you know us. So yeah, we hook it up
little
for you guys.
MCG alpha. No, honestly, this is really great for the show just because we've we're pretty excited about this partnership. Still unannounced, but will be coming soon. But yeah, go down to the bottom just one more time there. Trojan.com/@MCG is the link. So we'd appreciate if you guys can use any link. If you're open to switching terminals or open to trying new things, please use that. You know, again, we don't want to force anyone to use certain products or anything, but this was one we felt pretty confident we're good actors and people we can build beside this year. So yeah. Go do
and
that.
I'm telling you guys right now, the reason I actually started using the terminal, at least not the only reason, but one of the reasons at first was this, the amount that they're doing towards the amount that they're pushing towards rewards, man. Like literally, if you guys don't know the story behind Trojan, actually, like the story goes all the way back to my days on ETH, where I actually connected with the Trojan team before they were even Trojan, right? So yeah, like I mean, look, wonderful platform. The team has very, very good history in terms of their ethics and things of that nature. They're good in terms of building for their users. They have one of the top Telegram bots that have been running, at least back when people used to use Telegram bots, and even after when terminals were alive, when terminals came online, you know, they still managed to generate a ton of user activity. So they have like daily rewards and stuff like that for all these gold coins that you earn for trading on chain and stuff. So yeah, man, look, check it out. Trojan.com/MCG. Biggest cashback rewards you'll find on the market, and you know, you're actually using a platform that will care about your voice as a trader in terms of what you might.
And I also heard about the Mobi integration is coming too as well on Trojan. Just put that out there. There will be a Mobi integration, so you'll get kind of all the benefits of Mobi, which are definitely the whale watch alert as well as their trending algo will be on there at some point as well. But yeah, we're pretty stoked.
Good stuff. Has all the bells and whistles, guys. Go check it out. And if you want, Josh, maybe you can link that in the show notes, the trojan.com/@MCG. There will also be a QR code as well. So, you know, if you don't like links, we'll be happy to provide that for you guys. But yeah, I mean, other than that, let's do a
Solana segment. Yeah.
Let's transition into bags here. Let's start with some bags. Actually, hold on. Let's start with some ownership tokens, because some of those are actually doing really nice after our coverage of them on Friday of last week. Starting with Umbra, called this bounce off the support here. I mean, look, I mean, this chart is pretty easy. I try to stick to support and resistance. I know you guys see me use the fibs and all this stuff sometimes, but a lot of times it's just support and resistance. I try to stick to that as much as I can. And you know, Umbra is literally at the lowest of the lows and was a really good buy there at just under 55 cents, and still is a good buy in the broad scheme of things. But that looks good, I believe. What was it? JW. He also recently came out with an article just around his thesis about just privacy, how privacy will play a major role in crypto over the next year or two. And he actually had that article here. He says privacy super cycle. So he kind of goes through some of the main use cases that we've had before, the OG ethos of crypto, where it was talking about how it's people's money, it's private money, things of that nature. And he talked about cypherpunks and how we've moved away from that, and now we kind of are having a full circle moment where we're coming back to privacy is now one of the biggest narratives. And that's also why I think it's just really interesting with what's happening in AI right now, because AI is a big narrative. So at the intersection of AI, crypto, and privacy, you have some of these projects. Umbra it doesn't really have anything to do with AI, but it's definitely privacy. And it definitely could be one of the more bigger, widely adopted, more widely adopted pieces of technology as well. I mean, I put out a tweet the other day that basically talked about how privacy, on-chain private transactions can fix the copy trade farming, the grifting that we see happening on chain. Because if no one, I mean, if you want to trade on FOMO for social proof, that's one thing. But if you're trading on chain, I feel like the only credible way to do that without farming copy traders is to have a private activity on chain. You want to farm copy traders, do it in public on FOMO, right? And I think more and more copy traders will get priced out. A lot of them will inevitably fail, and a lot of them will not they won't get the ROI. Just isn't going to be there for copy traders. And as that fact becomes more widely known, I think privacy becomes a new standard that will shift towards on-chain. And that's highlighted here in this article by JW. So you guys can check that out. But that's the whole setup here on Umbra. The SDK for Umbra really, and the SDK plus the ownership aspect of the business, you cannot beat that. It's probably one of the best privacy setups on chain as far as R&R goes. So that's Umbra. We have here also Orgo. We've called out Orgo, as you can see, the green box there, bouncing off a key support. It's basically the same setup as Umbra from a technical side, bouncing off key support, looking really good. It's at a intersection of AI and AI agents and crypto, which is basically the narrative right now. Honestly, I don't know why Orgo isn't higher. Probably Solana Jeets at play here. But overall, I love Solana as a not Solana. I love Orgo as a setup here. Really good buy zone. And it's all in narrative. And then too, you have the ownership coming with Street Foundation. That's also getting started in March. If you want to go back and watch our interview, I'll actually be putting out a post today. As this is the first week. He called out first week in March, but I told him on the interview, I'm just going to say March. I think March is going to be, a huge month for Street. And, as the batches roll out, as projects roll out, we want to also keep an eye on Orgo as well. So looking good there. Kled, Dom isn't here. So I'm going to be the Kled bull today for Dom and let you guys know that it's in an absolutely crazy buy zone here. It's now kind of underneath, back in this range that it was in back in Q3 last year. So really good value for buys, anywhere around 15 mil. I don't think we stay in this area very long, because again, Street is they're doing, pretty they're going full force here in March. So I would definitely if I was a buyer here in Cled, it'll be down here in this range. And I don't expect us to stay in this range a ton. I think we pop right I think we pop right back up. And actually let me do this. I think we pop above, consolidate, and then we go. And I'm actually going to keep that. I'm going to keep that squiggle there because I feel like that's exactly what happens with Cled. Okay, so there's the setup there on Cled and Orgo with Street going full force. So those are pretty important to cover. What else do we have? I think I saw something about CPT. So let's check in on CPT real quick here. Yeah, good DCA buy for CPT. It's losing this on the technical side, it's kind of losing this lower range. But honestly, it's not really a lot of trading activity that's been happening on CPT. It's just been kind of, you know, just been kind of just oscillating. It's been in the same range since like for like a month now or so. So like this kind of range here, it's been in here for like a good portion of a month. But good value for what you're getting. I mean, we all know how bullish MCG is on CPT overall. We've had them on the show many times. We see that they're signing, big contracts. They have, big pipeline. They're friends of the show. So good value, good deep value.
Yeah, we also disclosure we own CPT, Cled, Orgo as well.
Yeah. Full disclosure there.
But yeah, March was supposed to be or is supposed to be a month where they show like demonstrations of in working product. So I don't have an update on CPT that I've seen yet, but as soon as we do, I mean, they mentioned even having a live stream of their drones flying in real time. Like, we will definitely cover that because as much as I love sitting on here talking about, privacy and ownership and on-chain transactions and all this kind of stuff and agents, I want to see some physical hardware. Like, I think that's just unmatched. And I think, again, once you see it, it kind of connects a little different from an investment thesis standpoint. So,
yeah. So that's solid there. That's the setup on CPT. Let's see. The other one that I wanted to cover here was MetaDAO. We covered this on Friday. CPT needs some sort of AI partnership to catch attention in this market. I'm not gonna lie, Crypto Jones. I don't even know if a partnership at this point. Like, there's so much that this market has chose to ignore when it comes to fundamentals. I don't know what will make this market bullish on anything. But all I know is it will eventually catch on. So yeah, shout out to a King's mentality. It's just a long-term hold. I don't even think capturing attention in this market should even be a thing. Like,
yeah,
just keep building.
I want to talk about this because so 50-50 on direction Cled moves from here. I see it as pretty bottomed out. And I know we've been talking about that for a while. I think there's a lot in the waiting room there. But I mean, look, he said he's like raising, at a multi-$100 million valuation, minimum 10% anchor. I just think there's like a floor there. And the reason it's not hot right now is broadly Solana's not hot, but just the ownership token narrative is just taking a backseat.
And
CBT,
I'll say this just along with what Josh just mentioned real quick. Because there's a tweet that does that thought justice from the homie Mirage. Impatient pump chasers and panic sellers allowed me to accumulate some coins I like for very cheap because this chart was quote unquote dead. I'm now up on said coins and am, if I may say so, expecting much higher prices for them in the near future. Hodlers in control, conviction in control. I would say that's exactly what we do here. Is if we are bullish on the ownership thesis, on the intrinsic value of token thesis, if we're bullish on things like equity backed SPVs, debt with DRP standard, ownership with Futarki, like if we're bullish on these things, then these charts essentially do look dead, and they're at low prices. So now would be the time to kind of bid the mismatch between fundamentals and price, and just essentially wait. But I think the key is here DCA. Like, don't just like just bid everything you have in one go. Buy it over time. Trade in and out of the market. Use profits to rotate into some of these long-term conviction plays. And I think we just wait for the thesis to play out. I would definitely want to buy ownership tokens that are, AI related, privacy related, to stay in meta. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Can you link
Abe,
this? Can you link
yeah,
this?
yeah, definitely. Abe, if Street nails their launch here soon, I could see the whole crypto market get on board in time. Could be a game changer. Definitely. Definitely street season
Yeah.
coming.
I only see that base about Cled based on the chart analysis. Yeah, I mean that's again that's the time-based capitulation we're kind of seeing, and it just it's not necessarily going to change just yet, but there are catalysts in the imminent future. I think really, really soon. I also want to. Can we pull up this? I know. What was it? Nathan. So Nathan called out Calvin. Can you check on that? I want to say Nathan called something and it actually did, as he mentioned, did quite well. I don't know if you can throw Calvin open real quick.
Yeah, I got Calvin up here. He said, "Have you guys talked about Calvin yet?" It went up out of nowhere. Just curious on it. Yeah, let's see here. Jeez, look at this. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. That's crazy.
Can you flip to it? Yeah. Oh my goodness, Nathan.
What a call out, bro. Let's I have no idea. Full disclosure, I have no idea what this is. I'm not in it. But let's take a look. Calvin. Let me search this up and see if I get anything on it. Let's see here. Oof. Not seeing okay. Yeah, not seeing a lot of
this is
good
on
things on the
bags.
time.
All right, we're gonna get onto a bag segment here. Good
Let's see.
pivot.
So friend of the show, Low Cap Hunter, has actually done some DD on this. And not sure if Calvin I think it, from what it seems like, there's a lot of supply control on this. Let me see. GST, it's giving us, you can, this one, interesting. Yeah. So let's look at some other bags app stuff.
Any TLDR? I mean, this thing's ran quite a bit.
It's likely supply controlled. And it doesn't look good on the forensics report. Actually, let me throw this into really quick into Trojan and see if I see what the score is on Trojan. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Let's see what we get here. Bundled 83%, top 10 holders 28%. Not passing a lot of the safety scores here for Trojan Terminal. Security audit. Yeah, yep. So
Oh, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do this 100K challenge, I think.
I think that's what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with not covering this one.
Okay. Yeah, be
Yeah.
careful, guys. Nathan, if you made a great trade in this, congrats to you. But
Yeah,
definitely keep in mind we do look at these metrics around bundled percentage, et cetera, these on-chain forensic metrics, because you got to think all those bundles could at any moment click sell.
unwind. So yeah, 83% was bundled. All right, cool. Okay, well, there's that. Let's look at some other Bags app tokens. I'm actually going to shift to my Bags app watch list here. Ave X1X LOL. God, that
Bro,
ticker.
come on.
Let's
Ye-
let me flip to that real quick. Let me
all
flip.
right, just for you, Abe. Out of order, he had Lori up, but of course we had. Man, I just want these bags projects to perform so badly.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean,
Man.
structurally, here's my only thing. Here's my only thing about X1X. And I'm not trying to FUD out nobody out there bags. That's your bag. Hold with conviction. Stand up to the FUD. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing. But I think this guy's 16 years old. I mean, not saying that a 16-year-old can't come out with something, revolutionary. I mean, I think Ethereum was made when Vitalik was in late teenager years, I believe. So, I'm not saying that innovation can't come from someone that young, but that to me is kind of sort of a red flag. Like, I don't really know if he's seen that, what kind of chat is he like with the money, with the fees generated. I love the lore. Nathan, what's the lore? What's the lore behind X1X? I wish they just, I wish there was a different name too. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, I'd love to kind of get the bull thesis here, either Ave or Nathan on X1X, on what you guys think. I can't even draw anything on this chart really. It's just the support area here that is holding really well. So obviously it tells me that someone is a buyer here at these levels. So as long as it holds, looking good. But honestly, this is what, 200K market cap or something? Oh, just under 500K. Just under 5. Oh no, the support line, I'm sorry, is at 300K. But yeah, about 500K market cap. I mean, can't really do TA is, TA is only worth so much on TA is only worth so much on a micro cap. But it is, for what it's worth, at a good area of support. I'm just not really sure what the long-term thesis is here. So let me see if I can find one. Let me see if I can find one. It looks like he got the follow from the CEO of Vercel and the PMarca follow. Looks like his GitHub is I believe is what his GitHub here looks like. It's pretty good. 127K stars. I guess there's a Vercel partnership in the works, but I don't know the truthfulness of that. But yeah, looks like he's in the works. Looks like he's got, from a tech perspective, looks like he has a lot of things coming. And this is more so around AI agent security. That's what this protocol is all about. And
Guys, I've tried getting this guy on MCG. I know he had messaged me saying he was doing exams. Funny. Again, young founder. Please help us try and get I'm trying to remember his name. Let me see if I can throw it open in the chat. Oh my goodness. Wow, I'm really scrolling. Lucas. Yeah, Lucas. Try to get Lucas. So yeah, if you guys can
Valbuena. Try to get Lucas Valbuena on the show, guys. Smash his tweets. Let him know that, MCG Would love to have him. Would love to have him on. Outside of that, let's see what else. What else are we looking at?
We gotta do our GSD fam.
Oh yeah. Let's hit up GSD. I'm not gonna lie, kind of concerned about GSD here. If I may be honest, it hasn't really gotten any momentum from since that tweet, and I'm seeing less of the GSD warriors on the timeline. So wondering a little bit here about what direction what direction GSD goes from here. Again, not trying to FUD anybody out their bags or anything like that. But I've noted this on GSD like pretty much every time we've mentioned it on the show. If you take a look at this orange line here, this was the tweet that he posted about GSD being a meme coin, and the community didn't really respond well to it. Since then, there's been this question of, okay, like, how do I give the token value? Like, do I, but it kind of goes back to like what we've been asking this whole time. And so, yeah, still something that we have to work through. And I think the community also is trying to work through that thought of, okay, like, how is this token valuable? If you said it's a meme coin and it's not a utility coin. So if it's utility, what utility does it have? And it's been that struggle of kind of finding, where to fit this token into. And I think that's honestly kind of working a little bit backwards. So that's why I'm like, I'm not personally in GSD at this present time. That kind of the reaction from the community there kind of like confirmed some of my thoughts.
So I'll give I think I agree with everything you're saying. A couple updates from Lex is right now he's building a front end to a GSD app. And I think, you guys saw Dom and I try and fumble through setting this up. It's tough. It's hard to set up. Not GSD itself, but just the overall Claude code, vibe coding setup is not super intuitive if you don't know what you're doing. So there is some product coming. A couple of other updates in the 100K challenge, and maybe chill. I'm gonna just pan to that real quick because I think this is. Oh damn!
While you do that, shout out Nathan in the chat. GSD Whale here. We're still present. Lex is live building the GSD app and integrating the token. Solid. Okay, yeah. I like that. See, I like to see that. Like sometimes the way FUD operates, FUD is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it is mindless, but it gives the community an opportunity to fight back and prove the FUD wrong. So if there is an opinion or a take on something that you like that challenges your thesis, if you have nothing to fight it back with, no metrics, no community support, no nothing, if there's nothing to fight back that FUD with, then you're essentially acquiescing to the FUD. The FUD is now won. But if I'm saying like, hey, look, I haven't really seen GSD on the timeline and stuff, but here comes Nathan like, yo, no, I'm standing 10 toes down. I'm standing on business. I'm a whale. We still love GSD out here. And, there's catalysts coming. That I love to see. That gives me confidence in GSD. I've never questioned the tech itself, just more how the market is treating the token. But yeah, let's run through the 100K challenge here.
Yes, this guy's like Bags app. I will give credit to Bags app. They are just doing all the right things. I think this is brilliant. They mentioned that back what got really Bags on the map was they gave away like a couple $100,000 for a similar contest. And it didn't really work out the way they thought, but they actually gave the money away. And when people saw they gave the money away, it generated a huge amount of attention. So there's 2 days left, 4 hours. So keep an eye. These are the coins that are currently in the lead. Obviously, you have Calvin at 1.3 million, 256 holders. again, we have some concerns that this is definitely probably very supply controlled and bundled. And what happens if they lose, right? Do all of a sudden those bundles unwind and, there's a big sell event and you're kind of, it goes to zero? Like, who knows? But that's kind of typically how these happens. On the other end, you have GSD that's in a solid second place here. We know Lex is a really great builder, high integrity person. What he's mentioned that he will do is take 50K and I believe add additional liquidity to the token, and then take another 50K and buy back and burn the token. Maybe it was 50K to grow the GSD product, I think, and then 50K to like into the chart. So either way, I mean, go look at what Lex has said. He's done it in the past where they won 10K and he put all of it in the chart. GSD has a really good, GSD's kind of like the leading token, I would say in bags, just from a, all angles standpoint. I know the chart kind of looks a little rough, but you get a few green candles in there and a sentiment change and some stuff on the timeline. And if this product is great, I mean, it could really kind of flip the script. So I like
Where's
GSD.
Loria on this chart?
Loria is
On this
not
list.
on this chart. I think what it requires is you have to use one of the apps. Actually, let's see really quick here.
Oh, you have to use the app to like buy your deck screen.
50K is distributed pro rata to all holders. Okay. Amazing. Coin must be on bags. Oh yeah, right here. So unless Loria is like actively like using the App Store functionality, again, I think they're claiming fees, but like I don't know how involved they are with the token itself. It's probably not popping up on this chart. But look, guys, Calvin is gonna not win. Like Calvin's automatically disqualified because it's bundled. It's right there. Organic growth only bundled. They have fair play. We manually review the winning coin for suspicious activity, including trading, bot activity, and artificial holder inflation. Coins found to be gaming the system will be disqualified. The prize will go to the next eligible coin. So if you receive 1% of the supply, you'll receive 1% of the 50K holder pool. I mean, really, really cool. So here's the timeline, winner verification. They're going to take 2 days to do forensic analysis. You think Chill and I are doing forensic analysis on this stuff? These guys are going to do forensic analysis on this stuff. Okay, there we go. Loria didn't integrate the token on the app yet. So as a GSD holder, I only have to worry about Loria waking up. Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, like Loria, friggin' Andy Airy could like blow open this competition in like 2 milliseconds, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, like, dude, Loria is my #1 bags play. Outside of like 100K to the team and holders and stuff like that, pro rata, like that's awesome, great. Loria does not necessarily need to win this to hyper send to the stratosphere. So yeah, no, I'm 10 toes down on my Loria. Been that way for quite some time now.
And Bags, if you're listening, I should be able to hover over this and it tells me what compound liquidity does. Just saying. Okay. Even then here, there's no really description. So would love to know kind of what these apps do. I think this App Store thing is like, this is a total unlock. This is really cool. Like buying automatic dex boosts. I'm like really bullish on this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I think Bags app, like, dude, we've said it a lot of times, man. Credit to Finn and team. Like they've been hustling, man. They've been hustling. They've been making all the right moves.
So there you go. That's our TLDR. I think there's a lot more bag stuff that we're gonna talk about very soon. So I'm pretty excited about bags, but I don't know, Chill, if you want to do Loria real quick as well.
Yeah, 100,000%. 100,000%. Let's see here. All right, I'm sharing my screen. Let me see something real quick. So this is the Loria setup here. And we can even just remove this. This is the Loria setup. I mean, I've had this buy zone marked for a while. So initially, like, 3 mil would have been kind of the area for me. We've seen a couple test pumps to the upside. It's not quite ready yet. We see this kind of holding, and let me just look at the daily. Yeah, it's kind of holding this order block here. It's also a key place here. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Loria is you can never count out Andy. Oh no, not like this. No, 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 sir. No, sir. The opposite way is what I meant to do. Yeah, so yeah, definitely can't count out Andy. But this block here looks pretty good for a good place to bounce here on Loria. Outside of that, I mean, not really much to update. Still waiting on Andy to like update us, the community, on what's the next steps, exactly what is he building, what are they working on. But we do know that Andy is pretty bullish on the whole like bags app structure, and I think that's really important. He actually defended that. Again, FUD came and he stood on business when people like Nikita Beer and others came to FUD bags. To me, if the Clarity Act passes and retail comes in, I can definitely see the bags meta taking over pump fund. Why do you say that, Nathan? What specifically about bags would attract retail over pump fund? I'm not saying you're wrong. I want to know what your thesis is, because I think you might actually have some truth to that. I think there might be some truth to that there, Nathan. That's a good take. Let me know what you think there. Let's see. What else we have? So that's the Loria setup. We covered PPW, still basically in the same spot as it was. We covered GSD.
Yeah, I'm trying to get PPW on stream, just so you guys know. So if you can tag them, but man, one of the challenges with PPW, like if this event that we've seen in the last like 2 weeks can't move the token, I don't know what will, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know.
tough.
Yeah, but see, what's that chart looking like? Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to cover some meme setups that we talked about on Friday. Those are actually doing quite well. I told you guys about the setup here on Punch. I told you guys bottom of the range is where I'd be an interested buyer. Bang, hit it. We're now sitting in the green, and we're just a couple percentage away from our bounce, our 2x bounce off the bottom. So if you took the swing with me, it's now in profit. So that's looking good there on Punch. Buttcoin was another one. I did say if I would choose, if there was one to choose, like I'd choose Punch first, but I also did flag Buttcoin because it's literally here. And this is a nice cluster of buys before this previous rally. So, nice little bounce so far. Not quite 2x off the bottom, but it again, just like Punch in the green on Buttcoin. I think of the two, I think Buttcoin is the more hold, like long-term holder focus. I think Punch is more so a trade for me right now, but I think both are doing really well. Another that I'd like to flag is Claude. The whole meme is Claude. Make no mistakes, right? Like Claude, make me $10 million in 3 months and make no mistakes, right? Like that's the whole meme. If you ask me, this probably has some sort of supply control around it. Like I'm not really sure how, not really sure exactly why this hasn't sent already. This should have sent a lot sooner, but it literally topped out at like 3 mil. So, take that with a grain of salt. It's a little bit off the bottom. So here wouldn't be a buy. If I'm a buyer here, um, if I'm a buyer here, maybe I buy just a little above here. Maybe I buy like a mil. I'd put my buy zone at a mil. This is key support, but yeah, I like to get the most value out of the buy. This is where I'd put it. But yeah, that's Claude. Just another one to keep on your watch list for now. Not much else. Not much else to cover here. We covered, honestly, Josh, we covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
Covered quite a bit. Utility, we can go through. Same stuff. I mean, not much to update on Repo or on Codec. Those are the two for me that like are solid, like the ones that I'm looking at. Repo here we covered on Friday. They had like, a 30x gain in terms of their user growth, and their relock rate continues to rise. So, you're getting a good value for a buy here at around 5 mil. So I think Repo is really looking really good. Codec as well. They're also in the Pump Fund Hackathon. They're looking really nice. They're in a deep value area here, because they're sitting at levels that they haven't seen it since like May of last year. And I believe they're also in the Pump Fund Hackathon. I think for me, like the thesis behind that is they're already a well-respected company in technology within the robotics industry. They've been acknowledged by like all the top names in the robotics sector. And they're even, there are even those connected to like Hugging Face and some, bigger circles in AI that are pretty bullish on the Codec technology. So I think if they do win the Pump Fund Hackathon, it's not more so about the money and the chart. It's more so about like how the advisors would affect and help their business, right? And I think that's really the bull case for me with Codec. Crypto Jones Repo is a beauty of a chart, only a matter of time before it's hitting all-time high. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. But that's the thesis there on Codec. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think we've gone through all of the charts that we've needed to go through. I haven't really added anything new. Trading new pairs have been like, it's just been complete AIDS, bro. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say it, but like new pairs have just not been it. I'm actively monitoring all the new pairs that pull through. Or at least the ones that hold any weight. So basically what I'm doing on Trojan is I'm setting like a filter. So they have like an explore section as well, like for any trending tickers. And I have like a certain amount of filters for like anything that's migrated. And I think the biggest filter for me is time and volume. If you make it past 24 hours, and you're still alive as a token on Pump Fund, you've already beat like a lot of the odds out there. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. But other than that, man, like not really much to update you guys on here today. Nothing really new. Tomorrow, I would say stay tuned for Amber Vibe tomorrow. That seems like a really, really interesting new project that's coming up on base. But yeah, let's real quick look at the MCG schedule for this week. Speaking of who we will have on tomorrow. So today we had Jack back from Liminal Cash. He updated us on some things in regards to their app, integrating AI agents into the platform. So some really good updates there. Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll have Stable Tweets. We'll also have someone else on at 1:15, I believe. Blast Git. On at 1:15, and then at 2 p.m. we'll have Amber Vibe, and again, their revenue is going parabolic, so that's kind of why they've been so popular. So tomorrow we'll get to dig into all of the good stuff there, and the rest of the week is actually pretty great too. So we have Dexter coming on Wednesday, Dexter AI, they're an X402 protocol. We have Sed Infra coming on as well. they're leaning into AI agents as far as their identity and trust. And then Friday, we have a massive Meteora Eco stream on Friday. So with some Bedrock updates, and we'll have KK and Vesper on. And then Friday we have Trader Radio. And we got a few traders that might be pulling through to the stream. So we'll looking forward to a good week with you guys. Monday, it's been a great day. We've seen a little bit of a pump in the market. We got some decent setups out there. Josh is already up on his hype trade. We're up on some of our meme plays that we discussed on Friday. We hit a couple entries on the base AI as well. So despite what markets are doing, we're cooking a little bit here. We're cooking at MCG as always. But yeah, let us know. Let us know if you guys. Let us know if you guys. What was I gonna say here? I totally lost.
If you
my
have
thought, but
projects, tag us. If you have founders you want to hear from, let us know.
Traders.
We'll get them on. Traders. Yeah, if you see a cool thesis, tag us as well. You guys, go watch some of the early parts of the stream, the Trojan call out there. Go use that link. Please, please, please. Supports our work. We really appreciate it. With that, stay tuned. This is going to be a great week, I think, after weeks of grind. And yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow.
We're excited. Hope you guys are too. We'll be back at you tomorrow. Peace.